All right. Well, Aspen, kick us off. What is a hot take for you in real estate? Since we're in real estate, let's go for it.
My hot take, and I've actually said it before, is I don't think anyone and everyone should be homeowners. I don't think everyone should buy a house. I really don't. Some people don't want, I think we get pushed this like, white picket fence and you want the house. Some people want to travel. Some people want to prioritize other things, and maybe you can't maintain the outside, or you don't want to deal with a toilet breaking, or some people just actually don't know and haven't been taught how to manage money. And maybe it wouldn't be the best thing for them to jump right into home buying. Maybe they should rent for a while. I'm not saying it shouldn't be accessible for everybody if you put in, the work and you want to do it. I'm just saying I don't think everybody should buy a home. I think it's kind of pushed on people like, if you rent, you're wasting your money. But some people just do not want to deal with the maintenance. And I think that's okay.
Yeah, that's interesting because being in the business, we're like, everyone should buy a home.
Why wouldn't you be a homeowner?
Why wouldn't you be a homeowner?
Right.
I've told many people you are a perfect candidate for renting.
For being a renter.
Yeah, you should be a renter.
Yeah.
Yep. So I agree with that one.
Yeah, I kind of like that one actually, but it's probably not a popular opinion. I mean,
probably not.
It's been the American
Not amongst
dream.
realtors, I'm sure. Yeah, because they want to turn everybody into a homeowner. But I agree.
Well, my thing is just like if you are, coming fresh out of high school or college, or you just are a full-grown adult and you haven't been taught, how to pay your bills and all of this stuff, probably better to maybe get an eviction on your record than a foreclosure.
Mm-hmm.
There's just different things that you don't anticipate, or you think, oh, okay, it's going to be cheaper if I buy, but then your AC goes out. Well, who's going to pay to fix that? You are. So, and maybe they can't afford to do both. So I think it's an option. I think renting's an option for a reason.
Well, and you may change too throughout your life. In fact, one of the Connie Mack boys that we kept, who's become like family to us, his father, DJ, if you're watching this, love you. Great. I love watching all the trips that you take. DJ has the thing is minimize and mobilize. And he had this big, beautiful house in Wyoming. He was a vet, former military. And he had this big house and he's like, what am I doing with this big house? So he sold it and bought himself a pull behind, and it's really nice, like fifth wheel. And he just travels, and he goes to all Andrew's games, and they travel all over the world. And so like, he just does not want to own anymore. And I think largely due to that, he doesn't want to have to take care of the house. He doesn't want to have to worry about, when he's gone, pipes breaking, whatever else. So
that's what Bryce and I have talked about whenever we retire is like, let's go find where we want to live. Let's not commit and buy right away. Let's rent for a year here, a year there, and kind of just go see what's out there, instead of just committing to buy right away. Now, whether that'll happen or not, I'm not sure, because we do tend to just buy. But
your statement is more geared toward people that have never bought and aren't planning on buying. And that's okay. Or
just don't want to.
Just don't want to buy.
Yeah. Some people just don't want to deal with it. And I think that is perfectly fine.
Yep. I agree. That's a great hot take. Shannon, what's your hot take?
You don't have to have an open house every Sunday to sell your house. We do it
fact.
for you sellers because you make us.
What is the stat? 2% of homes are sold from an open house?
Yeah. Right. So that is something I think probably 20 years ago, when people didn't have access to so much information, it was a lot more relevant to make sure to have the houses open to people. Even back then, if somebody really is a home buyer, they're working with a realtor and they're going to come look at your house. But I think that sellers really have it in their head that, you just need to have it open every weekend until the house sells, which is not true. I mean, your house is open 24 hours a day online to people. And if they are real buyers, they're already working with a realtor and they're already being introduced to that property, and they're probably going to schedule it if it works for them. So what your open house is for is all your nosy neighbors that want to come see what you did to the house and what you're asking for it. And they're going to come over and let your realtor know that, you haven't moved that car over there and they want it out of the way. And, what didn't get fixed properly 4 years ago, that's what the open house is for. That's what's going to happen in an open house. Now, having said that, I do some open houses, and I do like realtor open houses. I do think there is time that you need to have exposure to the house. So I do think that is true. I do think there is a time that tool is very handy. But I think that the idea that sellers believe that you're going to just hold it open and you're going to keep putting it in the paper, you're going to advertise it over state lines. That's another thing, people really believe that, a lot of people will say that, make sure it's in all the Durango advertising. It's on the internet.
The internet.
Yeah.
It's on the UK advertising.
Yeah.
People in London see your house. People in Asia see your house. I don't have to put it in a print magazine in Durango to get somebody to see it. They go on Zillow.
There's different IDX feeds though. So if it's being pushed, so like I list in Durango. So if I have something like the Riverfront house, I'm going to list it in Durango because even though it's on Zillow, those realtors see it, and maybe there's a realtor that's been looking for, and they are looking just in right here, but then they see it pop up on their MLS, and then they've added it to their, like maybe they will want to look a little bit further away.